We're going to show you a step-by-step process of how we create our boxes from start to finish. First off, we choose our wood. In the wood you just saw, it has all the circular saw marks or bandsaw marks, depending on where it's sourced from as to what kind of marks it has. But nothing is straight, nothing is smooth, it's all different thicknesses, it's all knotty looking, it's just nasty looking stuff. So we take it here and we're cleaning it up. This is a plane. What it does is takes the roughness off the top. The bottom is still rough, so there we'll flip it over, pick out the worst side, put the worst side up. We'll keep planing it till we get both sides flat and smooth. This process can take just 1 or 2 passes on each side, or it can take multiple passes. Not really going for a certain thickness, but we try to maintain slightly over 1 inch. This machine here is where we straighten up one side of it. After we straighten one side of it, we then rip it to the width that we want to build our box, whether it's 4 inches or 1.5 inches. This machine is a horizontal bandsaw. It's actually cutting that piece of wood in half. So where you see it going in here at 1 inch thick and 4 inches wide, it comes out the other side at 1/2 inch thick and 4 inches wide. Then we go back to our planer. We go in and take it down and get it close to what we want. All of our boxes are finished out at 430 thousandths. That's just slightly over 3/8 of an inch. We do that because we use a 3/8 screw and don't want it sticking on the inside of your box. Once we get it close, we go over to the wide belt sander. This machine has a caliper that tells us exactly how thick the board is. This too can take multiple passes to get it down to the 430 thousandths that we use for each of our boxes. Keep in mind this is a sander, so it's not taking a lot off, very little. 10 to maybe 15 thousandths for what we're doing. This has 120 grit paper in it now, so if we start out at 470, we'll go to 460, 450, 440, 430. At this point, we look at each side of it, make sure that it's sanded, make sure that it's nice and smooth. If not, when we're cutting out our boxes, we have to throw parts away or throw pieces away so that you don't end up with a box that has all gnarly, nasty looking wood in it that's not sanded down smooth. Once we get it to where we want, the next process we'll go over and start cutting it to length. When we cut it to length, we have basically a little computer on the right hand side that we have a program that we've put into it. It'll give us up to 10 different cut lengths. But in this video here, we're actually making a 12x8 box. So that first cut was 12 inches. This next one is 7.6. And it should give us a box overall of 12x8 when we finish. This process is done and repeated until we use up all the wood we have. The next part we get to is done on a shaper. This is a machine that's designed and has a ton of different uses. It's mostly designed to make moldings, to make different parts and pieces for cabinets, different trim parts. It does radius work, does a lot of work, but we keep it primarily set up just for what Doug is doing here. He's cutting a dado, or he's cutting a groove on the end of the box. That is cut on the front and the back, so that when it goes together, you'll see the joint that's on the end. And as you look at the front of it, it'll be one solid piece that goes down. Once those are all done, the next process is done with a table saw and a power feeder. It basically cuts a 1/4 inch groove, as you see there in the bottoms, to allow the bottom to be recessed in half the thickness of the outside wall. There you see the ends that are cut with the dado. That'll be the front and the back. Here you see the side pieces that don't have a dado, and those are where we glue together to put the bottoms in that'll go within that box so that it's not seen from the bottom. Here we're going to actually glue up what we call tops and bottoms for boxes. These are boards that were ripped at about 3 1/4, or if they finish out at 2/4, it doesn't really matter because we glue them together. That's a process called laminating. Basically you take wood glue and you put them in a clamp overnight, and you come back the next day, you take them out, you have a solid piece of wood that's been put together. So in this process, we can use these blanks for a top, or we can use it for a bottom. And when I say a top or a bottom, if we use it for a bottom, we'll cut thin. about 300 thousandths thick. If we use it for a top, we'll cut about 500 thousandths. We do add a little bit of water to our tight bond. It gives us a better consistency for using the JLT system that we use here. Once those are dried and we take them out the next day, we'll come over back to the bandsaw. We'll put these blanks in and we'll trim off that top layer of all that old nasty looking glue. But that's how we trim it up, and here we getting our air and our oil to it to cut this apart. So we'll take it and basically just slice layers out of it. Whether we do in tops or bottoms, as I said previously, is how we determine what we're cutting. So here I think we're cutting bottoms. Yep, that's about a 1/4 inch bottom. It goes through the bandsaw, comes out. We repeat that process until we get down till we run out of wood, or either it's too thin and won't make anything else. At that point we'll decide to trash it, or either keep it to make a bottom or keep it for something thinner. After it's been cut, we go back to our sander. This again is the caliper that I'm measuring on the other side to tell us exactly how thick it is, and 2 passes on each side, or 3 passes, or 1 pass, or whatever it takes to get it. The bottoms of our boxes are approximately a 1/4 inch thick. They can vary from 245 thousandths to 255 thousandths, but depending on the saw blade we use and how many times it's been sharpened, but somewhere in that ballpark it'll range from 230 to 250, give or take. Once we get those sanded down, here's where we check to make sure that we have the fit that we want. If it's a little too tight, take a little off. Keep going till you get it where you want it. After that, the bottoms are cut to length, they're cut to width, and they're checked to make sure that when we actually glue them that they will fit. Here's where we're measuring the bottoms. We know they're roughly 11.5, but sometimes things vary and we have to take a 32nd or a couple thousandths off the length of it. So we typically take one, cut one, get it to the exact size, and then if we're doing a lot of them, we'll stack them up and cut 5 or 6 at a time. Here's where we're going to cut the bottom to width. Pick out the better side of it. Obviously keep it. Trash the trashy side. Get rid of it. Once we've got it cut, you'll see the box on the cart. That's a dry fit. There's no glue in it, but it fits. So we got multiple stacked up here, and we'll get these all cut down to length. Get the bottoms ripped down to width, and the next part will be where we go and glue it up. Now that it's all fit and we're happy with it, we take it over, and sometimes we do this one-on-one, or sometimes we have an assembly line set up that we'll have 3, 4, 5 people putting boxes together. Today we only got a few, so we got Miss Caitlin here. She's getting everything laid out like she wants it. She has her own little system of how she does things, and you'll see the dados together at the bottom. You'll see all those turn the same way. And when she's ready to glue, she's ready to glue. She takes just an old squeeze bottle and applies glue on the dado in the joints, and as you see, we put it together with a strapping machine. We don't use clamps, we don't use nails, we don't use screws. It's all glue. You'll see the glue that's running out inside the corner. That's where you take a damp cloth. Sometimes you'll take a damp cloth with a point of a nail or a point of a putty knife or something to clean the inside of that box up. But here again you see her demonstrating again how she does it. Apply glue in all the joints. I tell them always, you don't go short on glue. Knock on wood, no pun intended. We've only had very few that have come apart. And when they do, we make them good. We send you a brand new box. I've even had customers tell me, nope, we won't put it back together. No, we'll send you a brand new box and you can have 2. So if you get one in the mail and it's falling apart, you send us a message. We'll make it right. Here you see tops. Just as we cut the bottoms, we cut these tops. Here Caitlin is rounding with a 1/4 inch round over bit. She's picking out the cup of that box right there, of the top. So we always want to put, as we say, the hump on the top. You don't want it to be cupped up. You want it to be upward. Over time, it can begin to cup, sometimes especially in mahogany, but that's probably the worst there. That's the other reason that we laminate these together and don't do it in single pieces. It just gives you a better product in the end. Here you see the next day she's coming in, cutting the straps off, taking it off. It's all glued up, all cleaned up, put together, good to go. This part, we're back at the sander. This is where we sand the top and the bottom to take off and get any little imperfections out. When they go together, they're not perfect. Trust me, they're not good. They look ugly looking. We'll do this process a couple times on each side generally. Sometimes something may have been wrong with that one and it got tossed to the side. We don't throw them away. We donate them to a school and they do arts and crafts and teach them how to paint, and so we don't throw very much away around here. If we can't use it, we give it to somebody. This process is where we come in and edge sand the ends of the box, the face of the box, basically sand it and clean it all up. That gets off any excess wood that's sticking over the end where it goes together, which is what Doug is doing right here. It also gets rid of all the nasty looking glue and stuff that got stuck to the box. You see Caitlin back on the router here. We round over all edges of our boxes that you can feel. Can't get to that inside corner right there on the bottom of it, but we get the outside corners, the bottom on the outside, the top, we get the inside, and we get the outside on that one. Our philosophy is if it doesn't feel good, it's not good. Go back and reroute it or sand it and do whatever you got to do to make it feel good. Next up to bat is Marta. You see she has an order in her hand and she'll pick out a top and a bottom to go with that order. She tried to pick the different tones and the colors of the wood to make sure they all look good together. They're going to go together. They're going to blend together. Try to make sure it depends on what is engraved on the top as to what she picks out, how she picks it out. There you just saw a template. We send those over to the customers for approval if requested, for approval before we engrave. Once we get approval, then they're engraved. If you don't request a template, then we do it based on what you've ordered. Some customers are comfortable in doing that, some are not, depending on what it is and the complexity of the job. So there you see on the laser what you saw previously on the computer screen. Once it's all engraved, it's gone out to the shop and we'll go through a process. We'll take a sander and clean up that burnt, charred looking look on it, and then we'll go through the finishing process. This is a multi-step process. We'll spray the top, we'll spray the bottom, we'll let them dry, we'll flip them, sand them, touch it multiple times in this process. This is the process of where we really start culling out any imperfections that we see. The tops and bottoms equally have 3 to 5 coats of clear gloss lacquer. It's an industrial grade lacquer that gives you a super smooth finish and a glossy shine. Once we're satisfied in the shop and spraying, then it comes back inside to be assembled. We have a machine that pre-drills these holes where she's adding a latch now in the shop. It's set up to give us that perfect hole every time. Perfect alignment. The latches there she's doing, we still pre-drill those by hand with a cordless and a jig we have. But the holes on the back for the hinges are all done in the shop with the machine to give us that exact definition and exact spot that we want. Once your order has been completely assembled, it's now time to give it one last look over and check it out. After it's all packaged up, then we'll create a shipping label, apply the shipping label, and pass it off to UPS or Postal Service or whatever delivery service you chose at checkout. We do offer overnight service, next day service, second day air service, and the list goes on. I hope this video has helped you understand the process that your order went through to get it to your doorstep, to get it to you, to get it into the hands of your loved one as a gift or as your personal use. I appreciate your time watching, and I hope this helps, and I hope to see many orders from you coming soon. You all have a blessed day from the Sanded and Branded crew, and while we're at it, we're just making dust and making man glitter.